Miss Tori Fowler. How are you doing today?
Good, how are you?
I'm doing great.
Okay. So you're here today to interview for a teaching position?
Yes, I am.
Okay. I got a couple of questions for you today. I'd like to start off with what do you think your strengths are?
I am a quick learner. I'm very friendly and optimistic, and I'm great with children.
Okay, good. What are your weaknesses?
I tend to talk a little too much and ramble, but that never is a bad thing in the end.
How would your current job describe you?
That I am very proficient in sales, and that I came to work every day on time, and I did a great job while I was there.
What were your boss's responsibilities at your last job?
The responsibilities of my boss were to count the phone inventory and to make sure the deposits were taken every day on time to the bank, to open and also close the store.
Do you have any opinions on them?
She is a very wonderful boss, and I still talk to her to this day.
Okay. How would your coworkers describe your personality?
I'm very bubbly and optimistic, and all of my coworkers loved working with me and enjoyed being there on the days that I was there.
Now, what makes you want to work for us?
I have always had a desire to want to work with children, and now that I've gotten my 2-year associate's degree, I want to further and look into the job field for early childhood education.
Okay. What makes you want to leave your present employer?
Because my present employer is not what I want to do with my life. I just currently work in sales to get through college, and now that I've graduated, I'm looking to pursue my career in early childhood education.
Wow. Why do you think we should hire you over other finalists?
I think that I would be a great team member to your company, and I don't think you would ever regret the decision in hiring me, because I'm a very hard worker and I get along with everybody.
Now, what qualities or talents would you bring to our company?
I'm very creative, so when it comes to extracurriculars for the children, I would be the first one to have an idea to give to the children and make days really fun for everybody, not just the kids, but for the staff as well.
Tell me about your accomplishments.
My accomplishments, for one, were to graduate from college and pursue the career in early childhood, and I'm very excited. I have been through a lot in my life, and my greatest accomplishment would be to finish school.
Can you pause this?
Yes.
Oh.
It's still recording.
Okay, I'm sorry about that.
Oh, you're fine.
Okay, where were we?
You're asking me my accomplishments.
What is the most important contribution to your last employer?
The most important contribution to my last employer would probably be the knowledge I gained in sales
How do you perform under pressure?
Bandit! Pressure actually doesn't really get to me. I tend to actually work better under pressure than I do without pressure. It's something to do with guidelines and having to get something done at a certain time that fuels me and makes me want to excel better in my job.
Okay, could you give me an example?
When I worked at Cricket, I had to do a last minute event to our business at MoveFest in Athens, and we actually put our application in a week before it started, and we had to get everything together, as in food, what we were going to do for the children, coloring pages, how the event was going to be run entirely, and it was completely last minute, and there was a lot of pressure when I had to do this event.
Okay. How do you react to criticism?
Criticism, I don't think anybody reacts well to it, but I tend to deal with criticism very, very well. Criticism doesn't bother me because it's one opinion, and I understand what people tell me and I take in what they say, but I don't let criticism get to me.
Okay. Could you describe a conflict or disagreement that you've had in your Could you describe a conflict or a disagreement that you had at work in which you were involved?
I've had several conflicts and disagreements. I worked at Burger King, and there were some employees that were stealing out of the back of the door, and I personally felt that it was wrong, and I made a point to let somebody know, which did cause a lot of conflict and disagreements with the people who were stealing, but of course they eventually lost their job due to it.
What are two of the biggest problems you've encountered at your job, and how did you overcome this?
Two of the biggest problems that I've ever encountered at my job, it's actually a funny story. I had a customer come in who wanted to order 2 iPhones, and I went to go through the activation process, and I brought both phones up front. They distracted me for just a millisecond, and I turned my back. They grabbed the phones and ran out the door and stole them, which was a huge, huge problem. Another time would probably be the time that I'm sorry, can you repeat the question?
Two major crises you've faced at work.
And then another crisis was when I worked at McDonald's, and a guy actually came in to rob the place. And thankfully, he didn't have a gun. He was completely out of it, I guess. And the crisis was avoided because underneath the register, they have a button that you push, and I thought fast, and I pushed the button, and the cop showed up before he was able to escape with any kind of money or put anybody else in further danger.
Can you think of a major crisis you faced at work, and tell me how you handled it?
Probably the crisis with the phones is the biggest ordeal that I've ever had to face. There were 2 gentlemen in there who assisted me with identifying the 2 culprits that walked away with the phones. The cops came, we had to file paperwork. They left, and eventually they did find the man and woman who stole the phones. I'm sorry about that.
Give me an example of a risk that you've taken at work, past or present, and how it turned out.
A risk that I took at work would probably be taking the deposits home with me at night. You're not supposed to do that. It saved me time in the morning when I would open the store, so I would just take them with me at night and take them to the bank on my way to work instead of going to the store, opening it up, getting the deposit, closing the doors again just to go 5 seconds down the road. The risk, somebody could have possibly ran up behind me and stole it. I never did have the issue because I always looked before I left the store, and 9 times out of 10 there was somebody else there with me. So it wasn't too big of a risk.
What's your managerial style like?
I've never actually been in a manager's position. When I worked at Cricket, it was kind of iffy who the manager was, and I did a lot of the responsibilities of a manager. And most customers seem to like me in the sense of being in charge of the store, and the higher up bosses also were considering putting me into management.
Have you ever hired employees?
I actually have, in the process of being a temporary manager. I had hired 2 individuals, a man and a woman. The woman ended up not working out, but the man still works there to this day.
What type of performance problems have you encountered in people who reported to you?
Calling out, not coming into work. Those are a lot of the problems most of the time with employees. They don't want to show up, or they have an excuse as to why they don't want to come into work, and that encounters a huge problem in a business.
How did you motivate them to improve?
Positive energy. If you are positive to a person, you let them know how they're doing well, what they can do to succeed and excel in their life, then they tend to want to work better. They tend to want to come to work. They want to do their job, and they want to participate, not just in the 9 to 5 coming to work, clocking out. They actually want to participate, and they want the store to succeed.
Okay. Describe your typical day at work, past or present.
I come into work, unlock the doors, walk in, turn the alarm off, go in the back, get the deposit, go to the bank, set the deposit, come back to the store, reset the alarm to turn it back on, or to turn it off. Then I go into the back and I file the paperwork for the deposit, send it in to the manager or the upper management. Then I count the phone inventories. I turn on all the phones in the store, wipe the windows down, do a little bit of light cleaning, maybe vacuum the floor, clean the restroom, turn on the computer, and count the drawers for the day.
What's a book you've read recently?
Honestly, I don't read many books. The last book I probably read was Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire, I think it was.
What do you see yourself doing in 5 years?
I actually want to own my own daycare. I want to go back to school for 2 more years in business and open up a low-income daycare, so people who cannot afford child care, the state pays for, it's kind of like an income-based, and the state pays for what they can't pay with their income.
Well, okay. That's all the questions that I have for you. Do you have any questions for me?
I do have a question for you. What is the everyday experience in the child center? Is it exciting? Do a lot of your employees work out long term?
Yes, actually, yes, they do. A lot of people do end up staying with us for a while, and They absolutely love the experience with the children, and they have a lot of fun with the children as well. And yeah.
Alrighty. Thank you so much for your time, and I hope to hear back from you soon.
Thank you.
Thank you.